has the Gumbo Limbo Environmental Complex. And you don't have to do the limbo to get in. It's an environmental education center. It was founded in 1984. Gumbo Limbo is a cooperative project of the city of Boca, Greater Boca Beach, and Park District, Florida Atlantic University, and Friends of Gumbo Limbo. In addition to the sea tanks and the butterfly garden and the boardwalk trail through the hammocks, complete with an observation tower, Gumbo Limbo also houses a research facility run by Florida Atlantic University. Students can study coral reefs and sea turtles and sharks and seagrass and other marine-related subjects. So we're finished with that, and our next stop is going to be Delray Beach. Delray Beach is a small city of about 70,000. It's about 9 miles north of Boca. The Pineapple Grove Arts District is dotted with public art and galleries. Nearby, Cornell Art Museum displays contemporary work. The Lakeside Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens offer tea ceremonies, calligraphy workshops, and serene outdoor spaces. It's absolutely beautiful. Wakota-Hatchie Wetlands is a park featuring a raised boardwalk and a view of birds and turtles and alligators. Delray Beach was once named the most fun small town in the USA by USA Today, and it's easy to see why. It's nestled between Boynton Beach and Boca. Delray Beach is famous for its lively main street, inviting beach weather, a thriving arts scene, and interesting culture that stretches back centuries. And you want to be sure to visit the Murakami Museum and the Japanese Gardens. It's the Center for Japanese Art and Culture. It's west of Delray. The campus has 2 museum buildings and a bonsai garden and library, gift shop, Japanese restaurant called the Cornell Cafe, and that's been featured on Food Network. Rotating exhibits are displayed in both buildings, and demonstrations including tea ceremonies and classes are held in the main building. Traditional Japanese festivals are celebrated several times a year, and the park and museum are named after George Murakami, a native of Japan who donated his farm to Palm Beach County to be used as a park. And it's 188 acres, so it's fairly large, and it's just beautiful. There's things to do. There's the Everglades and the Francis S. Taylor Wildlife Management Area. You can ride the Everglades. You can go on Lion Country Safari. You can swim with the dolphins. You can tour the Henry Morrison Flagler Museum and the Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens. And really, there you have it. A quick ride through some of the best places to retire on the Atlantic coast. And be sure to check out my other podcasts on living in Florida. As I said before, Florida, the good, the bad, and the ugly was in April 12th to be exact. And then retired to Sarasota was May 25th. And if you like Tampa, big city living, go with May 11th. Listen to that, and you'll get a lot of information about retiring to Tampa. And, of course, I'm not finished with Florida. I'll continue in another podcast. But for right now, I just wanted to cover Palm Beach County. And I thank you for joining me today. Now, a lot of people listening don't want to move to Florida. That's just not in their scheme of things. But, you know, if you listen to my podcast, I've talked about Arizona and Las Vegas. There's a lot of places to consider. One of the biggest problems that people have is obviously making the decision, and they can make the decision by visiting these places, but make a list before you go of what you're looking for and what your budget is. Decluttering is a biggie because most of my clients have been in their houses for 20, 30, 40, even 50 years, and just getting rid of the stuff just is overwhelming. I did do a session in March on decluttering and what a freeing feeling it is to get rid of your stuff. And I think you should listen to that because that's really the first step. Obviously, you can be making a list of what you should be looking for in a community. Do you want the active adult or the master plan community? And I've done a podcast on master plan communities versus active adult, which is better for you. Master plan communities allow for a variety of ages, and active adults is limited to 55 and over. I've had people move to the 55 plus because they really don't want to be around kids, and I've had people move to master plan communities because they want to be around a variety of age groups and more activities going on. Master plan communities can tend to be somewhat larger, and tune in and keep posted on other communities I'm going to be doing in Florida, plus other communities around the country, Lakewood Ranch, other ones, Sun City, those kinds of places. And there's so many on the boards, so to speak, which means that they're in development. So you want to make sure that you start the declutter process, and it's going to be overwhelming if you have a lot of collections of things. I've worked with people who have had to deal with, what do I do with my stuff? Are you going to really pay a mover to move it across the country for you? It's a hard thing to decide. And a lot of times your children don't want your stuff, and they don't want the 12 sets of china that you have, and you don't want it, but you don't want to get rid of it. You're attached to it. So there's ways to figure those out, and I've done podcasts on those. Check them out because they do have a lot of information on how to get rid of things that you don't want and that your children don't want. And the older I've gotten, I've been doing a lot of downsizing and decluttering, and I really like the freedom of not having a lot of stuff to take care of. It's less expensive. I don't have to, dust it and keep it stashed away someplace. Just get rid of it. Let somebody else use it. It's you've enjoyed it, and especially if it's been in a box for 5 years in a storage space, nobody's enjoying it. So just get rid of it, and you'll feel a whole lot better. And there's going to be stuff that you do want to keep, obviously, photos and memorabilia from trips you've taken, but you don't have to take everything with you because it's going to cost a lot to move. So be thinking about getting rid of stuff, and don't wait until the last minute. I always tell people, if you wait, you say, oh, well, I'll do that someday. Well, someday should be today. You're going to have to deal with this while you're still able to. I mean, what if you fall down the steps tomorrow or next week or next month, and you have to deal with recuperating in a nursing home? You have to deal with this now. Make the decisions today because you want to be able to enjoy a new life in the active adult community. You want to enjoy life in Florida, North Carolina, Texas, wherever you decide to go. And I'm going to be talking more about various places that you can retire to with other people who live there so that they can share with you what it's like to live in that area, and then you can go visit. So if you have questions, you can contact me at moveorimprove.debbie@gmail.com, or you can come up on my website, www.boomerhousingoptions.com, and check out what's there and let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me.